Hello. This is demonstration, a small one, of an application designed to work with a setup, a robotic setup that was designed using ABB Robot Studio. It includes also a real setup equal to the 3D environment that we designed in Robot Studio. The idea is to demonstrate how we can control, how we can command and monitor an industrial setup using standard programming languages, network interfaces, and speech recognition features, which is a feature that I added to this application. The following packages were used. The first package was ABB Robot Studio 606, which is the latest version. I also used the Microsoft Visual Studio programming environment, Community Edition, which is also the latest one. My language, the language I used to program this was C Sharp. Also used to have the speech interface, I used the Microsoft API, Speech API 5.4, and also some features of the SDK 11. I also adapted a Portuguese speech recognition engine and a Portuguese text-to-speech engine to have Portuguese speaking robot. Also used, of course, a robot. The robot is an ABB ERB 140 latest controller. And this robotware, meaning the operating system of the robot, should be something around 5.661, the version, or higher, something around that. So it means a newer robot since 2000 and something, 2012 or something. All the code presented here is free and given to you as is for education and demonstration objectives only. Reference to this work is my name, Norberto Pires, from the Mechanical Engineering Department of University of Coimbra, Portugal, and this work will be published soon in international journal. So how does this work, and how and basically what is the idea? If we start the application, just a moment, yeah, just to arrange my screen to have the robot here. See, we designed the application, a table, a workpiece, and then a tool. It's a deburring tool. So let's say we'll have trajectories around this metal workpiece to have a small deburring of the edges of the workpiece. Then I design all the application with all the points, etc., etc. So I have 6 options. One path that does all the edges of the workpiece that I call all workpiece. One that does the contour, external contour of the workpiece. Another one that does the holes that we have here. Another one that does only the interior of the workpiece, and one that does all these lines here that are engraved in the workpiece. So I have 6 options designed in the system, programmed normally using Robot Studio. Then let me put Studio and the viewer in a position so that we can have the application here. Yeah, so the application was designed to run on Windows, Android, and Apple operating system. So meaning the operating system for computers running macOS and also iPad and iPhone. So if you enter as administrator, that will give you access to all the features. It says that you're logged in as administrator. Then you have a screen where you can program all the necessary things to run the robot properly. You can run the real robot. This is the IP port of the IP address of the robot and the port, IP port. You can also run at the same time the robot in the Robot Studio environment, or of course with different IPs. We can define velocities, accelerations in percentage to slow down and accelerate the robot, and you can define the velocities, the parameters of the real velocity the robot will have when doing when doing the piece, at least when the workpiece, the tool is in contact with the workpiece. You also have the selections in the app that was designed. The app is this environment. So I have two timers working here, one for pulling the robot, another one to process information. The normal selection here is 100 milliseconds, and I also have socket timeouts because I use TCP/IP sockets, and my selection is normally 500 milliseconds or 1 second, around that. So you have here normal things. You can set and read from the robot, from the application, and of course the same thing to the robot. Then you have a manual screen to this manual screen allows you to see pulling the robot, how it is working, if the motors are connected, are engaged, if the program is running, if the robot is available or doing something. Here you can punch the buttons and program and start the motors, start the cycle, etc. You can also send individual messages to the robot. So you write a message here, send to the robot, and receive the answer here. This is the automatic interface. The automatic interface allows you to run the 6 options. You see the motion here. The robot will tell you in messages what it's doing. Also, the speech interface is here. You can select whatever engines you have available. For me, it's important to have one English and one Portuguese at least, and the voices you have in the system. I use the standard Windows voices, and also Portuguese one to allow this to speak in Portuguese. And the robot will inform you about how it is handling the application informs you how it is handling the speech interface, what is recognizing, if a command was recognized, in what confidence he has on that. I only allow a message to be sent to the robot if the confidence is at least 70%. So this is the basic interface, and this is a help window just to give you some information. So let's start this. Let's start in English because this is an English demonstration. Started with US English and with David as a voice. You can initiate the speech. Load the grammar. I'm using a grammar with all the commands I have available here. I can start the recognition. When the recognition starts, you have icon saying what is starting. As you see, it's trying to identify an available command. So the first thing we can use this application, commanding it with your mouse, or you can use the speech interface. So let's do it first by hand. After selecting all the parameters, the velocities, etc., all your parameters for the application, the robot you're commanding, the real one, or the simulation environment. I will use in this demonstration the simulation environment. You can go to this manual screen and put the robot in automatic. It's already in automatic. You can disconnect it or connect it, and engage the motors. You'll see here that the motors are connected. Also here, start the program. Program is started. It also informs you that the program is started. The workpiece is being detected. A sensor here detects the workpiece. So the workpiece is being detected, everything is ready to run. So you can go to this menu and select whatever you want to do. For example, we can ask the robot to do the holds only. So it will move, and I'm running this in laptop, so the simulation runs slow. But of course it depends on the computing power of the computer you have. So I will not move the screen too much, just to allow the simulation to run fast. So you see it is doing the holes. I can show you what the hell is doing. Then it goes to this hole here. The velocity program here is 1,500 millimeters per second, but of course the simulation goes slower than that. But the one is selected is this one, and in contact I'm selecting 200 millimeters per second. So you see, simulation stopped. He's going home now. So I have my application when it goes home stops, and I have the menu available again. I can ask the robot, for example, to do these engraved lines here. For example, I can ask him to do this. This is the trajectory he will do. Design. If I do the interior, it will do this trajectory, the holes that I did previously, the contour, and the old workpiece. That means the robot passes to all the edges, through all the edges of the workpiece. So let's do, for example, these lines, which is a fast thing. So the robot goes to this point here and starts to do these engraved lines here. You see, I have in the workpiece an engraved lines here. So it will approach the surface and do the job. In contact, and then that small intel there, and then in contact again, and it will finish eventually in a few seconds. Okay, finishing and going home. Okay, so let's back to the application. Is busy, ready, program is on, motors on, the PC is in place. I have the menu available to do this. So I can now, for example, start my speech interface, start the recognition. You see, I have here the icons. Go to automatic. Robot, hello.
Hello, I am your robot. I currently speak English and Portuguese.
Robot contour only.
Okay, Norberto.
Robot program stop.
Okay, Norberto.
Robot program cycle.
Okay, Norberto.
Robot go home.
Okay, Norberto.
Robot program stop.
Okay, Norberto.
Robot motors off.
Okay, Norberto.
Robot terminate.
Terminated, Norberto.
And this ends my demonstration. As I told you, this is a complete environment that allows you to command your robot using a standard application that runs in several operating systems, and also enables you to command it using specific commands issued by using your voice. So using your voice and being recognized by a speech recognition environment. Oh, just to show you that this also works in Portuguese, I will show you how it sounds in Portuguese. I select the Portuguese recognizer and the Portuguese voice, and then
Olá, Norberto, língua portuguesa ativada.
for you that understand Portuguese, this is Portuguese. And the same happens if I just load the grammar and the grammar is not an English version, is the Portuguese version PT, and it also it will the system will recognize the Portuguese commands. So it's all for me from now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you be interested in these kind of applications. Thank you.